I overreact by leaving my fiancé after he canceled our wedding without telling me. As I write this, I'm sitting in my childhood bedroom trying to process everything that's happened. I'm a 28-year-old woman engaged to a 32-year-old man. We've been together for 5 years and engaged for 1. About a week ago, I discovered that my fiancé had canceled our wedding venue and all the vendor bookings without telling me. Our wedding was scheduled for 2 months from now and everything was set. I found out when I called the venue to confirm some details and they informed me that the reservation had been canceled. Shocked and confused, I confronted my fiancé. He admitted that he canceled everything because he felt we were rushing into marriage and needed more time. He said he didn't want to stress me out and thought handling himself would be better. I was devastated that he made such a significant decision without even discussing it with me. I told him that unilaterally canceling our wedding was a huge breach of trust. He argued that he was just trying to protect us from making a big mistake and that I should understand his feelings. Feeling betrayed, I decided to leave and stay with my parents for a while to think things over. Since then, he's been calling and texting nonstop, saying that I'm overreacting and that we can reschedule the wedding when we're both ready. He's upset that I left instead of supporting his need for more time. I'm torn because I still love him, but I feel like he completely disregarded my feelings and our partnership by making this decision alone. Am I overreacting by leaving him over this? Should I have been more understanding of his concerns? Well, first of all, you sound like a very caring person to be even asking the question, should I be more concerned about his concerns? But let's see what other people had to say first. This is a blessing in disguise. If he thinks he can simply make these types of decisions by himself in isolation, he is not ready to be married or even be in a healthy relationship. Canceling a wedding without telling your fiancé is next level unhinged. He unilaterally made the decision to cancel the wedding. You also made a unilateral decision to cancel the relationship. Yes, it was all about you and your stress, and he is so selfless to take that wedding off your plate like that. Sarcasm. When was he going to tell you? When you showed up to walk down the aisle? If he had these feelings and concerns, he should have owned them and talked to you about them. Postponing the wedding should have been a decision you made together. By canceling the wedding, he basically canceled the relationship as well. What did he think would happen? Well, there were many more comments to go along with this, but I definitely have to agree with the ones that I read for the most part. First and foremost, if he was feeling this way, he should have talked to you about it instead of just making this decision on his own. When you both made the decision together, essentially, assuming he proposed and you said yes, that was a decision that was made in unison. And then picking the venue and the people that you were going to invite and all of the other things that go into planning a wedding, for him to just cancel it without even telling you. And I really would like to know when he planned on telling you, because it just doesn't really make any sense that he would just jump the gun on such a decision without even talking to you first. And what about all the people that were invited? There was no indication in this story how many people were invited, but I imagine if a venue was picked out, that there had to have been a handful of people invited. So when was he going to tell them? Because these people presumably took time off work and out of their busy schedules to make sure that they could attend this event. And from the sounds of it, if you didn't know that the wedding was canceled, then the other people that were invited probably didn't know either. So again, I'd really like to know when he was planning on not only telling you, his fiance, but everybody else that had made these plans months in advance. And that's besides the fact that by canceling a venue not far enough in advance might even incur extra charges for canceling and all of these things. So clearly he wasn't thinking about the financial side of that either, depending on who was funding this wedding and what impact it might have on them. Whether you and your fiance were funding the wedding or one of your parents to put up all of that money and then find out that it was being canceled, and you might have to pay a cancellation fee. And there very well could be other things or aspects, things that may have already been purchased for the wedding that you're not going to be able to get your money back for, like who knows? So to just make a decision like this, I would have to agree is pretty unhinged. But the crazier part is that he's like acting like a victim in this because he expects you to stick around and support him and help him with these feelings that he's experiencing. But these feelings presumably weren't even brought up until you accidentally found out that the wedding had been canceled. So it's incredibly selfish of him to seemingly not really care about how all of this unraveling the way that it did is making you feel. And if he doesn't understand why you decided to leave and stay with your parents while you figure this out, like clearly he thinks the entire world must revolve around him. But I can tell that you are truly a very caring person because you're having to ask the question, should I have been more understanding? Am I overreacting? But if you ask me, you're definitely not overreacting. I don't know how I would act in this kind of situation because it's crazy and I'm glad I've never had to deal with a situation like this before. But clearly it shows a breach in trust in the relationship that he wasn't willing to come to you to express his feelings on the matter and at least come to a decision that you both agreed on regarding the wedding. To be honest, I'm otherwise quite speechless after reading this story, so you guys are going to have to let me know what you think in the comments.